Hello, everyone. And I'm so excited to be here today to share with you something that I make sure all of my clients have on lock in order to start working on their marriage. So, this is the number one thing that I make sure they implement before we do the work when it comes to changing their marriage and having those shifts. So today is all about the first step to take in order to be happy in your marriage. Take a guess. I want to hear what you think the first step is. Because oftentimes when my clients come to me, they think the first step is to giving their husband directions on how to be a better husband. And I hate to burst your bubble. That is not what I'm going to be sharing today. That is not at all what I'm going to be sharing today. So I want to know what your guess is. And then next, I want to know how much weight you put on your marriage or your husband for your happiness. Do you count on your husband to make you happy? Let me know in the comments, yes or no. And when things are going wrong, do you blame the marriage for how you're feeling? Okay, so those are two really important pieces to start to become more aware of. And if you're doing this, do not feel guilty. We're not here to judge. I too have done that before. I too have highly counted on my significant other at the time, or even my husband at the time, to really help me be happy. I came into the relationship expecting, oh, I found my other half. All my problems are going to go away. Like very much like the Disney kind of philosophy, right? The princess, or maybe soon to become princess, finds her man, and happily ever after, everything is solved. But that's not real life, and you know that, right? Your wedding day, is not the pinnacle of your marriage. That's when the real stuff starts, right? You've gotten to the height of your dating life, you become engaged, you get married, everything is really exciting, you're on a high, and then real life sets in. You have kids, and then more real life sets in. You find yourself having less time for yourself, for each other. You find yourself having less energy for yourself, for each other. And that's when the real stuff comes out. That's when it starts to get messy. So if you're in that mess right now, if that's the phase of your marriage that you're in right now, let me know in the comments that you are currently in that messy phase and what you think could help change your marriage. What is that thing that is stopping you from being truly happy in your marriage? Okay, so the first step that I teach all of my private clients actually has nothing to do with your husband. It has everything to do with you. So the first step is actually all about your self-care. Self-care is not a luxury. It is not selfish. It is a necessity. It is essential. And let me tell you why. Before I did self-care, I expected other people to help me be happy. And when I wasn't happy and I wasn't getting what I needed, I would be cranky. I would snap. My patience would be very thin. And I would be the version of myself that I'm not proud of. I would feel gross. And that is not how I want to show up to life, to my life, because we're all the creator of our own experience of life. And so when you give that power away to other people, right, to your friends, to your husband, to your kids, that can leave you feeling pretty overwhelmed and helpless. But I'm all about empowering you empowering yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you can take action. You can take action towards whatever you want instead of staying where you are, feeling stuck, feeling hopeless, feeling like you're a victim to your own life and circumstances. And that is not what our lives are meant to be like. Okay, now I do often have those moments where I go into that place, but you have to learn how to snap out of it and go from victim to empowered. And so self-care is a beautiful way to practice your own self-love, to raise your self-worth. And here's how it relates to your marriage, okay? If you go into your marriage or show up as it into your marriage, so go into or show up as half of a person, half of you, instead of all of you, your brilliant, beautiful, compassionate self, it's only going to lead to more problems because you're now handing over the key to your own happiness, which, by the way, you possess. You're handing it over to someone else and putting the pressure on them, let's say your husband, on him to be everything that you need. That's a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, he's trying to figure out his own stuff. So you practicing self-care is you actually getting to know yourself better so you can give yourself what it is that you need. You have to show up to the marriage as a whole person in order to be able to move forward as a closer, more connected couple. Because if you're expecting him to be a certain way, you're now creating this mold that he's probably not going to fit into because this is your expectation. Now, notice that this is different than receiving support that you're asking for, okay? There's being partners that are both committed, and then there's the codependent aspect. We're trying to shift from being codependent to being committed and intentional, and as an individual choosing to join in on the marriage together as partners. That's what we want to shift into, okay? So you know the whole concept of, oh, he's my other half. I want to challenge that. You don't want another half because, lady, you are whole. You are whole on your own. Everything you need to be happy is within you. It's a matter of giving yourself the time and space to own it, to sit and understand yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, so that you know exactly what to ask for, you know exactly what to give yourself. Because without that knowing, you're essentially having him do the guesswork, and guess what? He's never going to get it right because he's not you. Now, let's say he's also not whole, right? So it's not a matter of, if we're going to go into the math place, it's not a matter of you are half and he is half and you make one. It's more like you're half, he's half, you multiply half and half and you get a quarter because the problems are exacerbated, okay? Now, if for some reason you guys are miraculously balancing each other out where you have weaker points and he's stronger there, and then you're the vice versa, then sure, maybe it's half plus half, which makes a whole, but more than likely, it's not like that. And so it becomes even less fulfilling and more problematic, more conflict, less happiness, less connection. Do you see where I'm getting at here? If you're resonating with what I'm saying, or if you're having any aha moments, let me know in the comments. Okay, so this is why having a self-care practice that you regularly do is so, so important. It helps you show up way more fulfilled and ready to take on the day as a woman as a wife, as a mom. And I like to see my self-care practice as essentially putting on like a shield or armor. Now, as the day goes on, things chip away at it, right? Things that are stressful. Let's say, so I have two boys, right? Two boys and a baby daughter, but the two boys like to fight a lot, and it drives me insane. And I know it's normal, but it still drives me insane. And so every time they fight, every time my toddler cries because he got picked on or because he picked on the other one, don't ask me why he cries on that one, it chips away more of my armor. Now imagine if I didn't have that armor. By 9 a.m., I would be yelling, cranky, and just over the day. And yet I still have another 12 hours to go before I get to be alone. So if you want another visual, they always say, don't pour from an empty cup. Now, in relation to self-care, I say, pour from your overflow. Give from your overflow. And what I mean by that is, if you're a glass of water and the water in the glass is how full you feel as a whole person, and you have a pitcher of water, the water symbolizing what you're giving to yourself. Pour more into yourself until you have so much that it's just leaking out from the top. It's overflowing. Give from the overflow rather than taking from yourself to give to others. As you give more to yourself, you automatically have more to give to others. You see how that works? Now, when I started doing this, I started nagging less to my husband. I was more open about how I communicated my feelings. I was more open to listen to his feelings. I was able to be more compassionate when it came to problem solving or asking for what I needed or sharing how I felt if something felt off. But without that self-care, I would have gone from 0 to 60, from fine to having something trigger me, and then I'm pissed off, and you better move out of my way or give me what I want. And self-care was a key practice for me to shift into that version of myself, the version of myself that I want to be all of the time. Am I that all the time? No, but I always know what I need if I'm not ever at that place. So let me know in the comments where you are in your self-care journey. Are you new to it? Are you seasoned? Are you a pro? Or are you scared and you're thinking, I really don't have time for this? Or it's intimidating. I don't know what to do. Let me know in the comments. Okay. Now, self-care, don't let that term be intimidating to you. It could be as simple as taking 30 seconds to take a deep breath. It could be as simple as deciding to wake up 5 minutes earlier than the kids to get yourself ready for the day. Or it could be as savory as giving yourself a couple of hours, right? Whatever works into your life, whatever you give yourself permission to do or ask for support from your husband to enable you to do, you deserve it. Not only do you deserve it, but your family deserves it. So personally, my self-care routine, now granted I have a 4-month-old, so it's not always spot on, but ideally, I would wake up about an hour before my kids wake up. I get myself fully ready. I go downstairs to be in my own space. I journal, maybe meditate. Maybe I'll listen to a podcast episode. And I'll make myself some tea. and I'll drink it and I'll savor it and just start the day my way, on my terms. No one's tugging at me. No one's yelling in the background. I just have me, myself, and I am just loving on myself. So that when the kids wake up, I'm just like so happy to see them. Versus before, I would wake up when my kids woke up. So what's the first sound that I hear? Crying or yelling or someone running up to me. Not the kind of way that I choose to wake up. Now, if your life is a little bit unpredictable, like mine at the time, when I don't have the mornings the way I want it to, I still find a way to practice self-care. It's either going to be at nighttime, at nap time, or I just keep them occupied somehow in a safe way. And I tune out, whether I put on my AirPods and just be with myself, close my eyes as if no one else is around me, and I give myself my own time. I give myself permission to spend my own time on me, to invest my own time on me. Now, how much of your time are you investing in yourself right now? And how much time do you want to start investing in yourself, right? Baby steps here if you want. We're going for progress, not perfection. So think about it. How much time are you willing to commit to yourself on a daily basis to do something that feels good to you, to be with yourself as if you were single? Is it 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour? Start somewhere and start to see how differently you feel, how much slower you are to react, how much more compassionate you're able to show up as, and how much more open you are with your husband. So every day this week, I want you to do something for yourself. So right now, commit to something, promise yourself you're going to do this, and do it. Okay, that is my homework for you guys. For those of you who have not worked with me before, I love giving homework to my clients so that they can not only take what I give them and apply it, but continue having the transformation work through them even when we're not on sessions together. So this is my homework to you. Commit to practicing self-care, some amount of time that you think is a good amount of time right now, and do it every single day. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day.